I talked to Manny on the phone, and he wants to fight one more time.
He wants to fight one more time.
He does. Kid can fight because he had speed and he had power, and it's very, very hard to get those two together
at that size.
Yeah.
People thought it was finished, that the final bell had already sounded on one of boxing's greatest tales. The man who once made giants seem small, who knocked down legends with a mix of punches and footwork that seemed impossible, was done after losing to Denis Yugas in 2021. Manny Pacquiao stepped away from boxing and into politics, leaving fans with memories instead of new fights. But now, in a twist worthy of a movie at 46 years old, with knees worn from countless battles and hands still tied to destiny, he's back. Why come back when everyone says it's too late? Why chase a dream most believe has already passed? Because one man knows the fire never went out. Freddie Roach, the Hall of Fame trainer, the quiet genius behind some of boxing's most thrilling fights, has seen Pacquiao land punches that science can't explain. And now he's watching it again, calm and sure. Manny can beat Mario Barrios. Not just survive, not just last, he can win. And if Freddie Roach says it, history says we should listen. This isn't just a comeback. It's a challenge. A legend fighting against time, against doubt, against everything we think about aging fighters. Roach is opening the door for one last battle because in his mind, Manny didn't stop being great. He just took a break. It started with whispers. A few blurry seconds of mitt-work leaked online. Then clearer footage showed Manny Pacquiao shadowboxing at Wildcard Gym. No announcements, no press conferences, just movement, speed, that unmistakable rhythm. Suddenly, boxing fans who move on were glued to their screens, asking the same question. Is he really coming back? Pacquiao hadn't fought in years. He had become a senator, a philanthropist, a legend frozen in time. Most thought he'd spend his later years shaking hands, not throwing punches. The loss to Yugas felt like the end, not because he fought badly, but because he looked tired. But warriors don't quit because they're tired. They quit when there's nothing left to fight for. Now there is something. Mario Barrios, tall, strong, young, dangerous, a rising star in the welterweight division after beating Yugas. Yes, the same Yugas who beat Manny. And that's where the story takes a turn. That wouldn't put Barrios on the map, but it's a map he didn't ask for. Roach and Pacquiao plan to redraw it. The media questioned everything. Why would Manny do this at 46? Is it desperation? Pride? But Roach never plays drama. He shut that down with one clear statement. He's not fighting for money. He's fighting because he believes he can win. That's not blind faith. It's 20 years of experience. Roach has been through the wars with Pacquiao, from Barrera to Marquez to Thurman. He stood by him when the world doubted, and every time Manny proved them wrong. This isn't a midlife crisis. It's unfinished business. Roach's calm fire says he's all in on the man who made his name throwing punches faster than cameras could catch. Barrios may be younger, taller, fresher, but he's about to face something he's never seen before. Not just a fighter, not just a legend, but a force that doesn't know when to quit. If Manny Pacquiao is the fire, Freddie Roach is the match that lit it. Their story isn't just about trainer and fighter. It's about belief. Roach has Parkinson's. His hands shake. Sometimes his voice does too. But once he's in the ring, pads on, everything else falls away. That's not medicine. That's purpose. Before he was Manny's trainer, Roach was just another fighter with bad hands and worse luck. He fought hard but not smart. When the spotlight faded, he stayed in the sport because he had nowhere else to go. That's how Wildcard Gym was born. 4 walls, sweat-soaked mats, and a stubborn spirit that refused to die. Then one day, a shy, thin kid from the Philippines walked in. He barely spoke English, but when he had seen plenty of fighters, but this was different. Over 2 decades later, Roach watches Pacquiao with the same focus. That's why people listen when he speaks. Because Freddie doesn't lie. He's told Manny to stop before. He's led fighters into retirement when their legs gave out and their reflexes slowed. But not this time. Not with Manny. He's not saying maybe. He's saying can. He can beat Barrios. He's sharp, strong, and smarter than ever. That last part is key. Roach isn't counting on Manny to out-youth Barrios. He's counting on him to outthink him. This isn't the same reckless Pacquiao who brawled without caution. This is the evolved fighter. Still fast, still unpredictable, but now calculated. Behind that calculation is Roach, detailed, ruthless, honest. Where others see 46, Roach sees 12 rounds of data, angles, and patterns. He sees how Barrios drops his left after a hook, how he steps back in straight lines. He doesn't just see a way to win. He sees a plan already in motion. For Roach, this fight isn't just another paycheck. It's the final movement in a symphony he's been conducting for over 20 years. A climax he believes ends with Barrios on the mat. Barrios isn't easy. He's no soft target, no stepping stone chosen to make a legend look good on his way out. He's real, young, tall, tough, and strong and close. At 5 feet 10 inches with 71-inch reach, he's a natural welterweight who walks fighters down with calm confidence. He beat Dennis Yugas clearly, and that alone makes him a serious threat. But here's the catch. Beating Yugas doesn't mean you're ready for Pacquiao. Especially not the Pacquiao trained by Freddie Roach. Roach doesn't see Barrios as a mountain. He sees him as a maze. And mazes can be solved.
Huge right hand. The jab. There's that.
Barrios is disciplined but predictable. He relies on rhythm. His jab is solid but always comes from the same angle. His body work is aggressive but easy to read. Roach calls it methodical, which in Freddie language means there are openings. Barrios has the tools, sure, but Roach's eyes are on the gaps. His feet don't keep pace with his hands. He throws punches but resets flatly. Manny thrives on that. Watch enough of Barrios' fights and you'll notice. He's great moving forward, but when forced to pivot or fight on a back foot, his timing falters. That's a warning sign against a fighter who lives on sharp angles and quick moves like Pacquiao. And there's one more thing. Barrios has never fought someone who moves like Manny. Not just fast, chaotic, but controlled chaos. Most fighters get frustrated when they can't find their target. Barrios, he tightens up, turns mechanical.
Punches landed. Very close.
That's the danger. Barrios is stepping into a fight where his rhythm will be destroyed by movement he's never faced. Roach knows it. Manny knows it. And if Barrios can't adjust during the fight, something he's never had to do at this level, he won't last. At 46, you don't train harder. You train smarter. That's a lesson Freddie Roach has preached quietly at Wild Card. Gone are the days of sparring 8 rounds with multiple partners back to back. Now every minute counts. Every punch has meaning, and every session ends not with tiredness but with purpose. Manny used to be the gym's whirlwind, charging heavy bags, shadow boxing like his life depended on it, doubling road work just to wear himself out. But this camp is different. The fire is still there, but it's focused, sharp, and refined. Roach built this camp with exact precision, not to chase what Manny once was, but to bring out what's still inside.
Oh, down goes Thurman! And let me tell you, that was just a quick punch. And Manny Pacquiao moved in with his legs. And
Roach's motto now is no wasted movement. Every punch thrown in training is studied. Every session is recorded. Fewer rounds, but more film. Less damage, but more depth. Manny no longer trains to break himself down. He trains to protect his body and sharpen the tools he'll need for just 36 minutes in the ring. Even recovery is tactical. Cryotherapy, nutrition measured to the smallest detail, reflex drills with LED lights instead of just sparring. Roach's team includes a movement coach, someone who studies how Pacquiao steps, rotates, even breathes between exchanges. Because when time isn't on your side, science has to be. People forget, Roach said Manny was a volume puncher, but never reckless. He always had boxing IQ. Now they're leaning on that more.
And caught Thurman backing up. Thurman thought he could back up quick enough, but he wasn't quick enough to get it out of the reach of that punch.
And that's the scary part for anyone who thinks his version of Pacquiao is slower. He might be a step behind physically, but he's thinking 2 steps ahead mentally. This isn't a faded champion looking for one last payday. This is a fighter still crafting his final masterpiece. Roach isn't rebuilding Manny. He's showing what was never lost. If Barrios has nightmares, they won't be about knockouts. They'll be about things he can't see, punches coming from below his chin or around his temple, feet never where they were a second before, a man half his size making the ring feel like a trap. That's what it's like to fight Manny Pacquiao. Freddie Roach always says it's not just speed, it's unpredictable speed. Pacquiao doesn't throw simple 1-2 combos. He throws 5, 7, even 10 punches from angles that don't make sense, while moving, slipping, and even smiling. Barrios is orthodox, structured, built on rhythm. He likes his jab. He likes his distance.
3rd and 3 of the last 4 rounds. Look at the total jabs landed and thrown. Pacquiao 23%.
Roach sees the pattern. Barrios steps straight back, and that's death against a southpaw like Manny, he says. And he's right. The worst thing you can do against Pacquiao is retreat in a straight line, because he follows like a shadow and punches while moving forward. Barrios has never faced a southpaw with this kind of engine. He's sparred with left-handed fighters, a few, but none who blend offense and movement like Pacquiao. Roach calls it the slingshot. Manny draws you in, then explodes forward at an angle, just off-center enough to be invisible until it's too late. It's not raw speed anymore, it's deception. Manny uses feints like grenades. His feet are weapons. He'll dart in, fire 3 punches, then step out sideways, leaving Barrios swinging at air and resetting like a rookie. Barrios can hit hard and pressure, but when he tries to trap the ghost, he'll find himself reaching, swinging, and missing. Manny's greatest weapon has never been his fists. It's been his ability to vanish and reappear where you're most open. Roach knows that part Pacquiao has never aged a day. The calendar says 46, but the tape says something else. You can age a body, but you can't age instincts. Not when they're wired into your bones. And if there's one thing Roach repeats like a mantra, it's this. Barrios doesn't just have to fight Manny's body. He has to outthink his brain. That's where most people get it wrong. They see Pacquiao's speed, his flurries, his energy, and assume he's chaos. But chaos doesn't win 8 world titles. Strategy and smarts do. And now, more than ever, Roach is unlocking that side of Manny. He's not going in to outslug Barrios. He's going in to outsmart him.
Hop in it.
Roach has spent hours studying Barrios' habits. He knows how Barrios reacts under pressure, how he protects himself when clinching, where he resets after a right hook. That's the blueprint. And Pacquiao's ring intelligence, sharpened through battles with some of the best fighters of the era, is the real weapon. Age means nothing if you control the pace. Roach says Manny's foot feints alone can steal rounds. He doesn't need to throw 50 punches to win them. He just needs to make Barrios question when he will. And don't overlook timing. Roach has Manny practicing split-second counters, not just reacting, but anticipating. Barrios likes to double up on his jab, especially after circling left. Roach's team knows it's coming. Manny's left straight is almost GPS locked on that opening.
Back and tries to roar back to nail Pacquiao with the right by a bloody Juan Manuel Marquez.
And here comes Marquez, follow with the overhand right.
Then there's the clinch. Barrios is strong up close. He likes to wrestle. But Manny's no rookie. He's been tangled with Margarito, tangled with Mosley, mauled by Horn. He knows how to work inside. Elbows, wide legs, punching on the break. Roach calls it old man tricks, but really it's veteran wisdom. If Barrios thinks youth alone will carry him, he's already behind. This isn't about speed anymore. It's about traps, control, and deception. Pacquiao may throw fewer punches, But the ones he does throw will count twice as much. Because experience doesn't fade, it sharpens. Ask Freddie Roach why he still trains Manny, and he'll say this: because he listens. And when he listens, he fights smarter. There was a time when Roach told Manny to stop after the Yugas fight, after the swelling, after the press conferences where Pacquiao smiled but his eyes looked tired. Roach said it was enough. The legacy was already safe. But then something shifted. Manny came back, not to seek fame or prove anything, but just to fight, because that's who he is. And that's why Roach believes Manny is different from others. He's seen fighters pretend, training just enough to please the media but not themselves. Manny is not like that. Even now, he pushes, not for money or praise, but for the love of the sport, for the belief that greatness once earned doesn't fade. It changes and grows. Roach's faith isn't blind. It's built from years of battle. He's seen Manny knocked down by hard punches, bleeding and hurt, but never quitting. Because history doesn't always fade quietly. Sometimes it comes back one more time.